Welcome, everyone, to our North Middlesex July 15th council meeting. It is with great respect that we acknowledge the land that we are gathered upon here today. It's the traditional territory of the Attawandaron, Anishinabeg, Haudenosaunee, and the Lenape peoples. It is through the connection with the spirit of the land, water, and air that we recognize their unique cultures, traditions, and values. Together, as treaty people, we have shared responsibility to act with respect for the environment that sustains all life, protecting the future of those generations to come. Call the meeting to order. I'll ask for disclosure of pecuniary interest. Do you have any? Please bring them forward. Just before we start, I mentioned a number of us went to the Blue Lakes Premium Meats. That's their new name for Park Hill Meats. We went to their official opening today. There was quite a number of us went, and I want to congratulate them on that happening and what's happening there. It's pretty exciting what's going on there. So look forward to seeing that happen. Okay, minutes of the previous meeting for June 17th. Regular meeting minutes. Any errors or omissions, business arising from it? Seeing none. Moved by Councilor Daigle, seconded by Deputy Mayor Hodgins. All in favor? That is carried. I also should mention roll call that Councilor Nerda is not joining us tonight. She has a very good reason not to be here tonight, so wish her all the best. We need to appoint members for the quarter revision, and that is myself, Deputy Mayor Hodgins, and the ward councillor for that is Councillor Connellison to sit on that. That is for the Sylvan Acres drain. Sorry, is there a movement for that? Councillor Irwin, Councillor Daigle, all in favor? That is carried as well. Thank you. At this time, we have the quarter revision. Welcome. Thanks for coming, George. Whenever you're ready, Joanne.
Mayor and members of council, in front of you is a report for the quarter revision for the Sylvan Acres drain. The quarter revision allows landowners to challenge their drainage assessments through an appeal quickly and informally. The quarter revision has one power: to relocate funds in a drainage assessment schedule. The quarter revision has no right to change the project, just the assessments. According to section 52.1 of the Drainage Act, an owner may appeal to the quarter revision on the following grounds: any land or roads has been assessed in the amount that is too high or too low, any land or roads that should have been assessed that has not been assessed, or due consideration has not been given to the use being made of the land. An appeal notice is due to the municipal clerk 10 days in advance of the court. However, at the first meeting, the court may, by resolution, agree to hear appeals that were not filed 10 days prior to the hearing. To date, there have been no appeals. The total estimated cost of this project is $883,300. Within the municipality of North Middlesex, there are 10 agricultural properties assessed into this drain: Coldstream Road and Bornish Drive, and there's a water main utility. There is also NextEra Energy and the County of Middlesex assessed for Kerwood Road. The proposed motion and staff recommendation is that council receives report DIO 46/2026 regarding the quarter revision for Sylvan Acres drain for information, and that the quarter revision for the Sylvan Acres drain 2026, having received no appeals, hereby confirm the assessment schedule contained in the engineer's report prepared by Spreet Associates, Engineers and Architects, dated June 3rd, 2026.
Thank you, Joanne. George, is there anything you'd like to add at this time?
No, thank you, Your Worship. We did a very thorough review of these costs with these owners in advance, had made some adjustments to anybody. We thought we changed some of the scope of work up and down to try to accommodate any input they had on their costs. So as far as I know, we have no further outstanding concerns on places we can make progress. So in the design, so I think we recommend the assessments be accepted as presented.
Okay, thank you. So we have no appeals on this. Would the court, do they wish to proceed with the rulings on this at this time? Okay, question, go ahead.
My question is for the engineer on this drain. And I'm looking at the costs associated with the NextEra, North Middlesex, Coldstream, Bornish. And the North Middlesex is being charged $132,000 for Coldstream and Bornish road crossings. It seems a little excessive. How do you justify that amount?
Absolutely. I can go through details on each of them, but I will start with an overview of it and see if you would like further detail at that point. I understand it is a very large amount. But in this specific case here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 independent crossings of Bornish Drive here. So it's highly irregular that one drainage report typically would have 6 crossings of a road. If you think of this as 6 separate reports, then each of those would be significantly smaller. There's also some assessment to Coldstream Road there for parallel benefit there. The natural way of the land would have been to cross Coldstream Road earlier. However, there is a ditch that's been constructed along the road to save a culvert for the road. So there's some cost associated with that for the municipality. So some of that cost of that reconstruction is assessed to them. I can go into more detailed on the breakdown, but besides that, there is also regular outlet liability here. Being a very large and expensive project here, there is a fair amount of outlet on all of these branches. I could look at the individual schedules here and break that down if you'd like
Oh,
to
that's
see.
quite okay. I was just wanting to clarify, because when I looked at it, I thought there was like 5 road crossings, but you say there's 6. That is a lot. So that answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, George. Any other questions from the court at this time? Seeing no other questions from the court, correct? Do you wish to proceed at this time? There are no appeals on this. You're comfortable with appeal? We do have a motion. I should mention to it that staff has been working on getting motions for the meeting so that the public can see them better, what the motions are, and they can also, if they're at home, can see it better. So another question?
I do. Just to clarify, there's no appeals to this point. If we approve this today, is there still an option for people to appeal?
That's a good question. Thank you.
Yes, through your worship. After this period, there is still a 40-day appeal window from the first consideration meeting. I would assume that hasn't expired quite yet. There's probably about 10 days remaining on that. Once that expires, there would be no further appeal rights at that time.
And would that appeal have to take place here in chambers? So they have to notify someone they intend to, or what?
That would be submitted to your clerk, and then would go on to the OFAT tribunal at that point.
And are the property owners aware of that process?
I cannot speak to whether they are aware. Certainly, we talked about that at the preliminary meeting, and talked about their appeal rights in the process. As far as the owners who, like whether they're familiar with the details or not, I can't speak to, but I can say it was mentioned to them and they were given the right for input and given the opportunity to voice concerns.
Would our drainage clerk know? Joanne, do you know if our property owners are aware of this process?
We didn't go into any great detail in our meeting. They are aware that they can appeal through the tribunal.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? We have a motion in front of us that is moved by Deputy Mayor Hodgins, second by Councilor Knellison. All in favor? And that is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, George. At this time, I need a motion for the Court of Revision to adjourn. Moved by Councilor Knellison, second by Deputy Mayor Hodgins. All in favor? Carried. Now I need another motion for that regular meeting recess and Committee of Adjustment convene listed on the agenda. Councilor Daigle, Councilor Keel, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thanks. We have now Court of Adjustments, and it is for the public meeting to consider application B6 2026 located at 1011 and 1125 Bornish Drive. Do we have the applicants here? Would you like to come up, sir, or are you comfortable there? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Go ahead, Ashley, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Rob. So the subject lands have a municipal address of 1125 Bornish Drive, and they're located east of Sylvan Road on the south side of Bornish. So I'm just going to zoom in here. So the purpose and effect of the consent application is to facilitate a lot adjustment to merge approximately 50 acres, so that's highlighted in purple, of vacant agricultural land from 1125 Bornish Drive with 1011 Bornish Drive, which is just outlined in red there. So there's no fundamental change in the number of farm parcels, as the proposal simply redistributes 50 acres of land from one farm to the abutting farm next door. The lands are designated in both the Middlesex County and North Middlesex official plans as agricultural, and they are zoned as general agricultural. The lands do contain a portion of hazard lands, which is just the red hatching on the map, and woodlands, which is the green hatching on the map, but these areas are not proposed to be impacted by the lot adjustment. The application was circulated in accordance with the requirements of the Planning Act. There have been no comments received since my report submission. However, we are here this evening to hear any additional feedback prior to making a decision. As noted in my report, Canada Post, Integris, the water supply system, the building department, and the infrastructure and operations department noted no comments. Emergency services did provide a standard comment just regarding 911 addressing and making sure the signage is readable and in good condition. And the drainage superintendent did note that a drainage reinforcement is required as a condition of approval. Additionally, no public comments have been received to date. So my analysis is outlined in detail in my report, so I will keep this short and sweet. But I would just generally note it by saying that lot adjustments are permitted in prime agricultural areas for a legal or a technical reason, such as a minor boundary adjustment. Additionally, the consolidation of farm parcels to maintain viable agricultural operations is encouraged. So it's staff's opinion that the proposal will consolidate a larger agricultural land base on lands that contain an existing livestock operation and associated manure storage, being 1011 Bornish Drive, thereby reducing future potential MDS setback issues that could also be triggered by a future expansion. And then ultimately, again, it's not fundamentally changing the number of farm parcels, permitted uses, or any viable agricultural land. So as such, for the reasons outlined in my report, staff are recommending the consent application be approved, subject to the 13 conditions, which I would just note are all very standard for an application of this nature. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. At this time, is there anything the applicant would like to say on this? I believe we have the agent as well online, do we not? Is there anything that you'd like to add at this time? Oh, there's nobody online for this? Okay, I'm showing someone online. Anything you'd like to add? Okay, thank you. Any comments from the public? I have to ask that. No comments from the public. All right, committee questions? Councillor Canellison.
Thank you, Mayor Rob. I actually have a question for you. I know some time ago at the county level, when we did our strategic plan there, we decided we would not create any 50-acre parcels. Are we allowing this because we're also generating a new 100-acre parcel? And it offsets, one offsets the other?
Thank you, through Chair Rob. So I would say we were using a solutions-oriented approach for this, and we have used this previously in North Middlesex as well. So we're not creating a 50-acre parcel. We're just essentially swapping which one is 50 acres. So if they were to come forward and want to split that 100 acres into two, we wouldn't be able to support that, but it's not fundamentally changing.
Right, we're just switching one
It
from
was
the other.
just switching
Okay.
it essentially, yeah.
Any other questions? Committee? No other questions? Councillor Irwin?
Move the recommendation, your worship.
So once again, the recommendation's on the screen for everyone to see. So moved by Councillor Irwin, seconded by Councillor Keogh. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you. Our next item is that. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to adjourn the Committee of Adjustment and go to regular meeting. Councillor Daigle, Deputy Mayor Hodgins, all in favor? Sorry. Department reports, report from the planner, MV 2026, 181 to 185 Park Hill King Street. Ashley, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. So as noted, the subject lands have a municipal address of 181 to 185 Park Hill King Street, and they're approximately 0.13 acres in size and currently contain a mixed-use commercial residential structure. So I'm just going to screen share to show the location map, but I will give the caveat that sometimes the lot lines can look skewed here, so just keep that in mind when you're looking at this. So the committee will recall the application coming before them for the public hearing on March 18th, 2026. The proposal originally presented would facilitate the renovation and reconfiguration of the interior of the existing structure to permit for a total of 10 apartment units, with a mix of unit types being bachelor, 1-bedroom, and 2-bedroom units, and it would remove the existing commercial space on the main floor of the structure. The structure currently contains a total of 3 apartment units and ground floor commercial space, which is currently unoccupied. Following the public hearing, the applicant considered all feedback received and has reduced the number of proposed apartment units from 10 to 7. A mix of unit types and removing the existing commercial space on the main floor remains proposed, and each unit is proposed to have its own bedroom, kitchen, and living space, as well as in-unit washer and dryer. The reduction of units was achieved by consolidating those 2 smaller bachelor units to an indoor amenity space for the residents of the building. Additionally, the owner has reduced the number of units so that each unit has one parking space solely for their use. And front facade improvements are also proposed to enhance the streetscape. So I'm just going to show you the image of what's existing. I'm sure you're quite familiar with it because it's just across from the municipal office. And then these are just some renderings of what they're thinking to do. And that's a daytime view and then a nighttime view. And this would just be from the exterior, interior plans are kind of a separate thing, but they were attached for you as well. So the application was circulated in accordance with the requirements of the Planning Act. Following the public hearing, no additional comments were received, save and except for comments from the municipality's Director of Infrastructure and Operations, who did note the requirement for a parking agreement and cash in lieu for any deficient spaces not provided on site. So as usual, the policy context and my analysis are quite detailed in my report. This was a nice 20-pager for you to read. So I'll just keep it very high level. But as council's aware, a minor variance is not based on the numerical amount in which you're varying the zoning bylaw. It's based on what the actual impact is. Staff recognize that the redevelopment and adaptive reuse of older buildings within the downtown area can present unique challenges, as many of these buildings were constructed prior to the establishment of modern parking standards, and they're constrained by their age, their lot configuration, and proximity to neighboring parcels. So in staff's opinion, it does require a solutions-oriented approach to encourage investment to fix up these older buildings and to modernize them, which ultimately leads to a more sustainable downtown for the municipality in the long term. In terms of parking, as council is aware, Park Hill King Street as a whole is generally stereotyped for presenting parking enforcement challenges in the municipal right-of-way. That said, in speaking with municipal staff, this particular building in question is not generally known for contributing to this issue currently. However, staff do want to ensure that this remains the case with the introduction of additional units, which is why the developer has reduced the number of proposed units to 7 so that each unit has 1 designated parking space. Due to the smaller unit sizes, the proposal to provide cash in lieu to upgrade the municipal gravel lot on King Street, and in consultation with internal municipal staff are generally in support of this. This redevelopment also provides an opportunity for the municipality to secure a long-term legal agreement with the owner to improve the overall parking situation and functionality of lands, where no such agreement currently exists. Pertaining to maximum density, the number of proposed units is well within the permission of the official plan, and ultimately other factors, including height, parking, and firefighting apparatus, are generally more indicative of how a site will function or develop. As it pertains to the amenity space reduction request, currently there is no amenity space in the building at all, so this proposal would actually introduce some space for tenants to use. Staff are satisfied with the requested relief as it introduces a space that doesn't currently exist, and the building is in close proximity to the downtown, Coronation Park, the library, and so on. Amenity space is also not to be confused with storage space. The owners are also proposing to provide tenant storage space in the basement for items such as bicycles, home goods, seasonal items, that sort of thing. And the other relief requested is largely technical in nature to recognize existing site conditions. So staff have recommended several conditions for approval, which as noted are primarily to do with parking. So this includes that a minimum of 1 parking space per unit is provided, that the parking lot is clearly lined, delineated, and signage is posted, which just looking at the current site right now, it's going to be an improvement from what is there currently. Also noting that this will all be clearly laid out in all lease agreements, and that cash in lieu for any deficient number of parking spaces will be provided to the municipality and secured through a legal agreement as well. The other conditions included require that the front facade of the existing structure be improved to generally align with the rendering submitted, and that waste recycling and, if applicable, compost receptacles shall only be placed at the curb on the day of collection and shall otherwise be stored to the rear of the building, screened from the streetscape and other properties. So this provision is also required to be included in all lease agreements. So ultimately, to encourage reinvestment in older buildings in the downtown area, the municipality has to be solutions-oriented. Providing additional housing supply in this location is supported by the applicable policy framework, and staff are of the opinion that the technical details will be satisfactorily addressed through the appropriate approval channels and with the recommended conditions. So as such, for the reasons outlined in detail in my report, it is my professional planning opinion that the variances requested meet the 4 tests of the Planning Act, and my recommendation is that the relief be granted with conditions this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Questions? Councillor Daigle and then Councillor Knudsen.
Thank you. And 3, Ashley, they said they've dropped it to 7, I think from 9, was it, or 10?
10.
But they're using that space now as an amenity space. So it's separate. None of the apartments change size. Can they come back and get a renovation and reopen those later on as 2 apartments in there?
Thank you, and through Chair Ropp. So they would have to go through the appropriate building permit approvals process and planning relief approvals as well. This variance is going to be very specific to what they've got before us today. So any additional changes or relief, that type of thing would have to come back before council, especially with the number of units.
Councillor Nelson.
Thank you, Mayor Rupp. Actually, we talked about this briefly before the meeting, but just to put it on the record, for all the renovations that are taking place now, is that a building permit issue or is that an engineering issue, or will the building official determine whether any engineering is required?
Thank you, through Chair Ropp. So it'll largely be determined by the chief building official. This proposal is a little bit different than ones we've previously seen in the downtown because they're not proposing basement excavation and units and that type of thing. So it's more so just reconfiguring the interior of the structure, but certainly they've hired an architect. They're going through the appropriate channels with the building department as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Deputy Mayor Hodgins.
Thank you, Mayor Rupp. Just a quick question on, just going by what I think I heard here tonight. The cash in lieu would go towards a gravel area on King Street. Is that correct? And whereabouts is that gravel area on King Street? Is there a map that would show where that would be?
Yeah, thank you, through Chair Ropp. So I'll let Sam jump in here in a minute. But my understanding is that it's the existing gravel lot that's on King Street already. The money would essentially allow for you to have some funds to go towards upgrading or expanding or providing additional parking that would ultimately help the whole area is the intention. But I'll defer to Sam to kind of add some more comments from his lens.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley, and through you, Chair. So what staff have sort of talked about so far is there is that existing gravel lot just adjacent to where the transformer infrastructure is there, just beside the municipal office there. So there's already a small number of cars that kind of use that lot, and people do park there, but it's secondary to the municipal lot we have. So the way that we've written this one up, and through Ashley, myself, and the applicants that we've worked together, we've written it as such that the applicant work with the municipality to come up with a cash in lieu of agreement. What that looks like and how much and all that sort of stuff is something that we've left to work throughout with the applicant, subject to council's approval on this. But our thought certainly is that we could either expand the lot or we could look to pave it. Now, I would speculate that the money we would get probably would not be enough to pay for the entire lot, but it certainly would likely be enough to put a dent in the fact that if we did want to pave it or expand it, it would certainly go a long ways towards paying for that. So that was our thought at the time, that we could either expand it and or improve it by paving it or something of that nature.
If I just make a comment to that, that lot does need to be expanded. Take some of the pressure off of the parking lot here for the municipality as well. But there does need some expansion there as well. Councillor Keel.
Thank you, Mayor Rupp. With that parking lot for future maintenance, such as snow plowing, is that going to be on the municipality or will that be onto the landlord of King Street?
I can take that one. So through your worship to the councillor, so that is already a municipal lot. So that's already a lot that theoretically we would have to maintain, and I don't see that changing.
Any other questions? No other questions at this time. We have a recommendation on the board. What's your wish? Moved by Councillor Nelson, seconded by Councillor Irwin. In favor? That is carried. Thank you. Our next one is engineer's report. Sorry, it's committee of adjustment. Public meeting to consider application B6 2026 located at 1011 and 1025 Bornish.
So proceeded past that, we're at item 7.
Oh. You want to do that one over again? Wow, sorry, it's been a long day already. The smoke's in my eyes. Sorry, it's 7.2. Let's try that again. Report from the Director of Finance. Ralph, that would be yours. That's on the audit documents to be presented.
I prefer that to the other one.
Yeah, we don't need to do this a double, I guess, do we?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, through you to council. As we've previously discussed, North Middlesex is currently trying to get caught up on its financial reporting due to the kerfuffle caused by excessive change in staff and the move to a new financial software system that happened in 23. Recently, we just got the 23 financial statements brought to council and approved. Right now, we are working on the 24, and the auditor has submitted 3 documents that need to be approved and, excuse me, signed. They are the 24 audit plan, the 2024 engagement letter, and the inquiries of those in governance documents that need to be submitted so that the 2024 audit can proceed. Shortly, I'll be bringing you those same documents for 2025 as we try to fast line to getting back on track so that we are compliant with our reporting. Any questions?
Questions from council on this? No questions from council? There's the motion is on the board again. Moved by Councillor Daigle, seconded by Councillor Keel. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Ralph, you're up once again, and that's for the write-off of uncollectible water and wastewater revenue.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you to council. This is related to the kerfuffle I was just talking about that has caused the backlog in financial reporting. This is more the operational side of what's been happening in terms of not staying up on making sure that all the water billings and arrears are being dealt with in a timely manner. And you will note in Mandy's report here that this spans almost a 7-year time frame. This $20,445.14. It across 56 different accounts. Normally, we wouldn't have to do this because as soon as water arrears get to be 60 days old, we would give them a final notice. If they don't pay it, then we add it to their tax bill and it becomes a lien on the property and we are guaranteed payment that way. Problem is that these have been done so tardy that in each of these 56 situations, the homeowner is no longer the person who was there when this bill was originally issued. So we have no recourse to get it from that person. Most of them we can't even find where they've moved to, so we can't chase it down. Hence the reason why we're doing this. Now, normally we'll have, you'll notice in the 2026, there's like $50 worth of nuisance amounts being written off. We would normally do that without having to come to council. But because of the amount and the desire to be transparent, we're asking council's permission to go ahead and do this. And we'll be establishing a proper policy should this ever happen again, or there be other accounts through either tax, water billing, or our normal AR that we need to write off, that we have a proper process for keeping council informed. So at this point in time, the motion is to accept the report and to direct staff to proceed with writing off this amount.
Questions from council? No questions? Oh, Councillor Keel?
Thank you, Mayor Rob. Ralph, when a property changes ownership and the outgoing person changes it to the new person, or the new person takes over from the old person, is there no action taken at that time to clean the water bill up? Or should I be asking Mandy?
Well, I think we can see if Ralph can answer.
Through the mayor to the councillor. You're correct. Normally, when there is a change in ownership, there is a closing out of utilities and utilities are brought up to snuff so that the outgoing person pays for their utilities. The new person gets a new account and it's all set up and going forward. The problem that has happened is with the changeover in staff and the change from one computer system to another. A lot of these things didn't get done in a timely manner and it was missed at those changeovers. And that's on us, which is one of the reasons why I'm pushing that we write it off, because these are our errors, not the people who were changing ownership.
Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Daigle, do you have a question? No? There's no other questions? Councillor Daigle, you're passing that motion. And is there a seconder? Deputy Mayor Hodgins, are you seconding? Okay. Second by Deputy Mayor Hodgins, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Our next one is Kristen, that's yours, and that is on the request for major drain improvements on the Sutherland Drain.
Mayor and members of council, in front of you is Report DIO 47 of 2026, a request for a drain major improvement for the Sutherland Drains. The Sutherland Drain serves 7 agricultural properties located on concession 3 through 5, lots 12 through 14 in the former township of East Williams. The Sutherland Drains current report is from 1968, and the drain's current condition appears to be contributing to flooding on the requester's farmland located on concession 5, West Part Lot 14. The notice of request for drain major improvements was received in our office on June 12th, 2026. A petition requires consideration within 30 days after filing the petition under the Drainage Act, Section 5. And an engineer is required to be appointed by council as per the Drainage Act, Section 8.1. The proposed motion and staff recommendation is that council receives report DIO 47 of 2026 regarding the request for drain major improvements, the Sutherland Drains, according to section 78.11 of the Drainage Act for information, and that council receives a notice of request for drain major improvement for the Sutherland Drains and according to section 78.11 of the Drainage Act, and that council appoints RDOB and Engineering as the engineer to the project. Thank you.
Thanks, Kristen. Questions on this? No questions? We have a recommendation on the screen. Moved by Councillor Keel, seconded by Councillor Daigle. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Kristen, you have the next one as well, and that is major drain improvements for the Henderson Drain.
Mayor and members of council, report in front of you is DIO 48 of 2026 presented as a request for drain major improvement for the Henderson Drain. The Henderson Drain provides drainage for 13 agricultural properties located in concession 18 lots 18 to 20, lots 16 to 19 in the former township of East Williams, with the most recent report being in 2022, and the previous reports date 1920, 1945, and 1967. This request was submitted by landowners on the west part lot of 18, concession 19, to enclose a section of the open municipal drain that runs through their farmland. A petition requires consideration within 30 days after filing the petition under the Drainage Act, Section 5.1, and an engineer is required to be appointed by council per the Drainage Act. Therefore, the proposed motion and staff recommendation is that council receives report DIO 48 of 2026 regarding the request for drain major improvements, the Henderson Drain, according to Section 78.11 of the Drainage Act for information, and that council receives the notice for drain request for major improvement for the Henderson Drain according to the Drainage Act, and that council appoints RDOB and Engineering as the engineer to the project.
Thanks, Kristen. Any questions on this? You have a question, Councillor Nelson? Go ahead.
Yes, Kristen, I'm looking at this here, and the intent of this request is to enclose a portion of the drain for this one landowner's benefit.
Mhm.
Will the other landowners also have to contribute to the cost of this enclosure as well?
It will be, yes, they will have a portion of assessments for outlet. They will also, but there will be a special portion allocated just to that farm.
So the landowner is having, the owner who is having the drain enclosed would pay the lion's share of this process
Yes.
and the engineering costs?
I know that's not.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't hear being up there in your last comment.
So so the landowner who's requesting that will pay a portion of their benefit for this request, and other landowners within the drain will pay their portions of assessments, and there will be a special benefit assessed to that landowner for this request.
So it'll be rated upon if the waters, if an adjacent landowner's water is going through that drain, they would be contributing to it.
A portion, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No other questions. We have a recommendation on the screen. What's your wish? Deputy Mayor Hodgins, Councillor Keel, all in favor? Carried. Our next one, Joanne, I believe that's yours, and that is on the Rawlings Drainage, Rawlings Drainage
yep.
Works.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Mayor and members of council, this report for the Rawlings Drainage Work serves as information to advise council that the Rawlings Drainage Work project is placed on a temporary hold. The project has been completed up to Richmond Street, where a 32 meter of 1,200 millimeter diameter steel casing is still to be installed by Jack and Bore. The Ministry of Transportation has requested a geotechnical services subsurface investigation. So the geotechnical services are based on a proposal from EXP Services, and that'll take approximately 9 weeks to complete before construction can resume.
Is there any questions for Joanne on this? I mean, it's just for information, but go ahead. Deputy Mayor Hodgins.
So I gotta push it harder. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just looking at this and it's just, it'll be us that will have to do this geotechnical service. We're the ones that are pressed to get the company to do that. And okay, might take 9 weeks or better to replay. It also says here, and I mean, there was a cost of bring your 40,000 to do this service. And will be billed back to the MTO. I understand that. Are MTO very good at paying up, like paying the bills fairly soon?
We do bill the MTO. Through the mayor. We do bill the MTO. So we'll apply for grant with this project. Hopefully it gets done this year. We'll apply for grant in February. We'll bring a bylaw to council to bill out, and then we will bill the MTO. We do get aging reports from finance department. So if they are not paying, we certainly will look into that. And Kristen is very good at keeping on top of that.
Follow up?
Just so we are able to apply for, for a grant to get that done? Is that, did I hear you? say
Sorry,
that?
they won't get grant because they're a road, but that's a process we follow. Sorry. So we will definitely bill them, and they require extra paperwork, and we will definitely submit that to them. They get a copy. They've been invited to all the meetings. They get copies of the reports, and they're up to date with their payments as far as yeah.
So say they requested it and they're going to pay for it.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. No problem. Any other questions on this? We're looking for a motion to accept this for information. Counselor Daigle, Counselor Irwin, all in favor? It's carried. Thank you, Joanne. Our next item is Brandon, and that is on the ice rates, the fees for this year.
So Mayor Ropp, members of council, the report you have in front of you is from an administrative oversight when we did our rates and fees. When we took our rates and fees back in late fall, early winter, we proposed 6% increase on our prime rate, which was passed. The 6% was also to carry through our minor sport rate, our non-prime rate, and our last minute ice rate. That 6% was not carried at the time of updating rates and fees. So the report is looking to amend Schedule G of the fee, specifically Section 7.8 ice rental, to amend the prime time rate for minor sports, the non-prime rate, and the last minute ice rate by 6%, which is what was discussed at Recreation Committee in November of last year. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, questions for Brandon on this? How do our rates compare to our neighbors?
So through the mayor to the mayor, it's still playing catch up with some of our neighbors. Where the closest ones, Luke and Badolf, they're still higher than us by a little bit, but we are, sitting where we are from London. It slowly increases the closer you get to London. So
Okay, thank you. So it's still in line.
yeah, we're still a little low compared to some of our neighbors, but certainly 6% is a decent increase. So
Okay, thank you. And once again, we have the recommendation on the screen. Counselor Daigle, seconded by Deputy Mayor Hodgins. All in favor? That's carried. Brandon, you're up again, and that is on the Park Hill Fair Agreement renewal.
the mayor, members of council, This one's our standard Park Hill Fair agreement. This is just a 3-year renewal with the Park Hill Agricultural Society so that they are able to operate their fair on our grounds for 2026, 2027, and 2028. And that would be the second weekend or the weekend following the long weekend in August annually. The agreement basically outlines our responsibility and their responsibility, and then that they control the grounds during that time. So if there's any questions, this is the same agreement they've had in the past, just a renewal. So.
Okay, any questions for Brandon on the agreement for the Park Hill Fair? Moved by Counselor Cornelison, seconded by Counselor Keel. Thank you. All in favor? Don't go away with that. Brandon, you're up again. And that is on the Park Hill Legion Remembrance Day banners.
So, Mayor Ropp, members of council, we were approached by the Park Hill Legion looking to do Remembrance Day banners in the town of Park Hill, similar to the way the Elsa Craig Legion completed them for the town of Elsa Craig. The banners would be at the cost of the Legion. They will be doing a fundraising application process similar to the way Elsa Craig ran it. So staff are looking for support from council in order to install these. They have been given the spec of what the banners will be made to. And then with council's motion of support, they will be able to proceed, and then we will put them up this year, however many they get up. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask, but the motion is the council accept the report for information, and the council directs staff to work with the Park Hill Legion for the installation of the Remembrance Day banners in the same form that they do with the Elsa Craig Legion.
Thank you. Brandon, we paid for the bars and to put it up, did we not? Like we were responsible for that.
So to the mayor, the bars are already installed we had the Main Street when we didn't have flowers. We got the banners to put up for something on our light posts. So those bars are already there. The number I think is around 28. So certainly they've been spec'd to the size of the existing that are currently there.
So we may have to add some more. Depending on
Potentially depending how many they create. This year, they've kind of said that they're expecting it to be low numbers just based on where it is in the year, but they're hoping to just build on it annually.
Yeah, I really hope it works. Questions from council? John, Counselor Keough, also Counselor Irwin, all in favor? I think we're all in favor of. Good to see that happening. I know people have asked about it for a little bit. Brandon, you have one more or a couple more, and this one is on the Ringside Eats concession agreement.
Yep. So Mayor Ropp, members of council, as you recall, last year we contracted out our concession stand in the arena. The concession stand was contracted out for a 1-year period, with the proposal being 3% of profits monthly to be shared with the municipality. After 1 year, we received $184.10. We met with the provider who was looking at an extension. They wanted to do another 3 years is what they were hoping for a timeline from us. In negotiations, we felt that we don't want to have the percentage model anymore. We want a flat rate. We proposed a rate of $100 per month during the operational season and then $50 during the off season, for a total of $1,000 annually for the next 3 years. The Ringside Eats group basically was okay with those terms, so we're taking it to council for blessing, and then at which point we will execute an agreement with them. What we hear from members of the public is far less complaints. We didn't have any staff calling in where we weren't able to open, so the service has been much stronger and much more consistent. Staff overall were happy with the way the group has ran it. So yeah, the 3-year contract has all our standard clauses for insurance. They were responsible for the cost of any inspections in terms of equipment, fire, any of that stuff. So if there's any other questions, the motion is that council receive the report for information and that council authorize staff to execute a 3-year renewal agreement with Ringside Eats for the use of the HMS Insurance Center concession stand with the terms outlined in the discussion section below.
Thank you. Questions? Counselor Cornelison.
Thank you, Mayor Ropp. Brandon, can you expand a little bit? I heard you mention something about the equipment in the agreement. Are they responsible for the equipment or is the municipality responsible for the equipment?
So through the mayor to the councillor, it is the municipality's equipment when they took it on in the first place. So we looked at the equipment with them. We signed off on condition. It is their responsibility and their cost to maintain all of that equipment. And should they exit the agreement, they have to return that equipment in the state that it was given to them in.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions on this?
One more. Does that include the vending machine as well? Do they do that as well?
Through the mayor to the councillor, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Once again, we have the recommendation on the screen. Moved by Counselor Daigle, second by Deputy Mayor Hodgins. All in favor? Carried, thank you. I think at this time, I would ask for a motion to adjourn council for a short period. As we're taking a break for a few minutes and I would like someone to move that. Counselor Keough, Counselor Daigle, all in favor? And we'll come back. Hopefully, our fire chief will be back to do his report when he comes back. Thank you. We stand adjourned. Yeah, we'll just wait. All right, we're gonna start again, guys. All right, we are back live. We call the meeting back to order. Our next item of business entry is number 7.11. And Brandon, that's yours for the pro shop.
Mayor Ott, members of council, you'll recall a report I brought to council last month looking for direction to seek requests for interest for the pro shop at the arena. The request for interest was put out and we did receive 2 submissions from parties. The one submission did not have any compensation proposed, and the second submission we received was for $100 a month for a lease for that space. In evaluating both proposals, I think both have an increased level of service to the community and to the people of the arena. They're looking at equipment sales, different ways to operate the facility than we currently do in that space. So staff's quite satisfied with the second submission and is making the request that council receive the report for information and the council award a 1-year contract to John Keller for the operation of the pro shop in the HMS Insurance Center for $100 a month. If there's any questions, happy to answer.
Questions from council? Councilor Canelson.
Thank you, Mayor Rob. Brandon, just for my own personal interest, is this individual a local resident that can easily attend to his duties at the arena?
So through the mayor to the councillor, he is local. He is going to Teachers College this year. So he put in his application that he understands that posed some challenges from the Monday to Thursday, but he plans to have some high school students help him out during that time. This individual is also a part of Minor Hockey Association, has been a part of the local schools, so very, very well rooted here. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, Councilor Daigle?
Thank you. Through Brendan, on the eats one, we talked about an on-season and off-season rates. We're not looking at this on this one.
So through the mayor to the councillor, there was no proposal for off-season rates. My suspicion is that with the amount of summer hockey that happens elsewhere, he may try and keep the pro shop running through the summer. People will be doing drop-off, skate sharpening, those type of activities. Certainly it is a 1 year with we're going to draft in a 30-day out for the individual because it is new to them as well. And it's one that's fairly easy for us to pivot back and take back operation as the machine is ours. So in that sense, we don't have any off-season rate at this time.
Other questions? The other question, I think it's great to get a chance at this. You're moving the motion? Moved by Councilor Daigle, seconded by Councilor Irwin. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Our next item, we'll just see if our chief gets a chance to come back, so we'll skip it for now. And we'll go to 7:13, and that's Ashley. That's your report from the corporate services, the second quarter report.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Mayor, to the members of council. I'm pleased to present the Corporate Services second quarter report highlighting the work completed between April and June of this year. Overall, it was a very busy quarter for the department, balancing our day-to-day statutory responsibilities while continuing to advance a number of strategic initiatives across the organization. From a governance perspective, Corporate Services facilitated 7 regular council meetings, 7 closed sessions, planning public meetings, committee of adjustment meetings, quarter of vision, drainage public meeting, and ensuring each was administered in accordance with its legislative requirements. In addition to supporting council, we continued strengthening committee governance through procedural support, updating committee web pages, improved records management, and ensuring committees continued to operate within their approved terms of reference. Election preparation continues to be one of our largest priorities this year. During this quarter, staff completed the clerk's election policies and procedures, the 2026 municipal election accessibility plan, and continued development of the election webpage, advanced the voters list management software, and completed the first draft of the voter information letters that voters will receive. We also continued to work with participating municipalities across the county, establishing a joint compliance audit committee to be brought back for council awareness and approval. On the information management side, staff processed 2 formal Freedom of Information requests, 93 internal information requests, and 35 external information requests. We also continued modernizing records management through records disposition, policy register development, and updating 22 municipal policies during this quarter. Corporate services also continued delivering a wide range of frontline services. During this quarter, staff completed 53 commissioning services, managed 11 municipal cemeteries, processed 6 marriage licenses, and performed 4 marriage ceremonies. We issued 7 new lottery licenses and continued administering our animal licensing and kennel inspection programs. Bylaw enforcement remained very active this quarter with 45 enforcement files managed and producing a 95% closure rate. We also completed the procurement and successful transition to the municipality's new consolidated animal service provider, which began operational on July 3rd. So finally, to wrap up our corporate services Q2, I would like to recognize corporate services team. This report reflects the work of multiple staff members across our department, and I appreciate their continued professionalism and commitment to serving council and our residents. Their efforts continue to strengthen governance, improve service delivery, and prepare the municipality for a successful 2026 municipal election. So the motion before council associated with this report is that council receive the report entitled RTC Corporate Services Q2 2026 for information. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
Questions from council? Council Cornelison.
Thank you, Mayor Rob. Actually, I read your report with a great deal of interest and it was very informative, but I do have a question for you. You identified that you're working on the voters list. Do you have any information as to the number of voters we currently have in our municipality?
Thank you. And through you, I would say that if the counselor is looking for an exact number, I can get back to you. But my best estimate based on the 2022 election, we were sitting around 5,200.
In 2022, we had 52 registered voters.
5,200 eligible electors.
Oh, interesting. Thank you. At what point, Mayor Rob, once we hit over 5,000, our deputy mayor goes back in county council? At what point would that happen?
So if I can, you can tell if anything different, but we have a 4-year delay for that. I'm not sure why. I agree. I don't agree with it because they take you immediately off and should be back immediately but that's not how it is. There seems to be a 4-year lag to come back on council.
So theoretically, in 2030, our deputy mayor may return to county council.
Right.
Thank you.
Right. Okay. Questions? Councillor Keogh. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor Rupp. My question to the clerk is, do we have any more cemeteries that may be coming on board that we will have to assume? Or do we have them all under our care now?
Thank you. And through you, your worship, to the counselor. When cemeteries age out of having a operational board, it is the responsibility of the municipality to assume that care. I am aware of a few within the vicinity of the municipality, but we're not in the process of assuming any more as it is current.
There are a couple of fairly large cemeteries that are not under our care at this time, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Hodgins, you had a question.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To Ashley, the election coming up this fall, I'm assuming it's going to be another e-vote. And are we staying with the same company that looked after it 4 years ago?
Thank you. And through your worship, to the deputy mayor, council did approve the alternative voting method in, I believe, October or November of this past year. And so we are using IntelliVote for our service provider. So that will look very much similar to the elections past.
Is the whole county using the same system?
Thank you. And through you, I believe so. We did do a group purchasing rates.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions? No, no other questions?
Move the recommendation.
Moved by Counselor Irwin, seconded by Counselor Daigle. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Scott, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Before you is the second quarter report for 2026 for the fire department, fire and emergency services. Call volumes were up slightly from 2025. We have 2 vacancies at the Ellis Craig Station and 4 at the Park Hill Station. There's 4 firefighters on various forms of leave. The gear replacement is in progress with 12 sets that have arrived and 3 more to come that are on order. The SCBA replacement program, along with the compressor and filling station program, is in the works. I'm working with county on procurement on that. Mandatory certification deadline was met July 1st. Burn permits have increased considerably since the first quarter, probably due to the drier weather. The fire department and the municipality conducted our annual emergency exercise in May, and we're maintaining our service levels and strategic priorities.
Questions for the chief? Counselor Canellison.
Thank you. Chief Jones, I'm just looking here and it looks like we have like 6 vacancies currently between the 2 stations. Is that correct?
Through the mayor to the councillors, that's correct. Since the time of this writing, we have filled one of those vacancies at the Park Hill Station, and then we have more scheduled to come on board in September.
Great, thank you.
Other questions for the chief? Counselor Irwin.
Thank you, your worship. Through you, this is a conversation we had earlier today. In relation to burn permits, I noticed our neighbor Luke Medolf has actually banned permits for recreational burns as well, including bonfires in backyards. Are we considering anything of the same nature?
Through the mayor to the councillor, we only banned the urban type burn permit fires at this time, as the backyard fires are much smaller and easier to maintain. And if one were to get out of control, it'd be much easier to stop versus the rural fires that a slight change in the wind could make a very big difference very quickly. But if things get more dry, we certainly look at that.
Okay. Any other questions at this time? Thank you to all you and all the firefighters and all the things you do for us. We appreciate it very much.
Thank you,
And
Mr. Mayor and Council.
We have a motion in front of us. Counselor Canellison. Seconder, Counselor Irwin, all in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Our next report, Ralph, I think you're doing that, and that is the Q2 Treasury Division report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and through you to council. I'm not going to go through all of the details. This is only our second attempt at a quarterly report of this nature with mostly statistical information. So we would love any feedback in terms of anything that you see in terms of omissions that you would like added, or things that you don't really think are worth the paper that we're writing it on. But just to go back to some questions that Councillor Keogh had earlier, if you look on the second page under water and wastewater, you will notice that during the second quarter of this year, we did 44 final bills. Those are those that we were talking about in terms of there is going to be a change of ownership or the account is being closed. Those are the opportunity when there is accounts closed and it gets dealt with the closing of the sale of the property, making sure that the lawyers have cleared out the utilities and all of that. So if you take that, we did 44 in one quarter, the 56 that we've accumulated over several years kind of comes into relation. You can see how the volume works there. The other thing is that we also transferred $393,230 plus from water to the tax bill in the quarter. So again, there's staying on top of those arrears going forward. So 20 grand over several years was a drop in the bucket in terms of the volume of activity that was going on.
Other questions? Counselor Dave.
Was.
On the 393,000, when you moved it to taxes, are they getting a notice at that time or will they not find out till they get their final bill?
The process that Mandy and Jana are working with currently is when the water bill goes out, there is notification 60 days later if it's not paid. And that is prior to the tax bill going out. So they're given actually a window of opportunity to pay off their bill before it goes to the tax bill.
Okay. Other questions? One comment I'd make is I like how the report goes payroll, payables. You know, you're breaking it up into the different reports. I like that portion of it. If there's no other questions, once again, we're looking for a motion. Deputy Mayor Hodgins, Councilor Keough, all in favor? Carried. Brandon, I believe you have the next one, and that is your Q2 report for Economic Development and Community Services.
Yeah, Mayor Ott, members of council, the report that's in front of you is our quarterly report for Q2. Just some high level comments here. We did have a fire panel go down at the Elsa Craig Recreation Center. So that had an emergency replacement there, which you will see on the Q2 variance report. We have been trying to work with staff to complete work orders more thoroughly. So we had 360 completed this quarter. Obviously not seeing them in the past, it's hard to gauge where we'll fall as an average quarter number, but I think it is a good start. We hosted a playground practitioner course at the Elsa Craig Recreation Center at the start of May, which we had 2 staff members gain certification in playground inspections, as well as we had a number of other local municipalities come and join for that course. We completed some business visitations at Mass Frank Garden Center, the Rooted Bean, and the Crown and Fox, along with a ribbon cutting for the grand opening of the Rooted Bean. The community guide is printed and ready to be picked up, so we will be picking that up tomorrow and having them out in some of our doctor's offices, dentist offices on Friday. We'll also be including that in the welcome wagon to Elsa Craig. Building condition assessments currently underway. Community improvement plan is basically out of funds at this point. We're waiting on the county for 2 applications, and if we receive funds back, that will open some funds back up on the housing side. And as Ashley mentioned, the elections communication plan has been created and it's being fully implemented through our communication side. On capital projects, we had a new truck come into operation on June 30th. Our new trailer was put into operation in April. West Williams roof replacement is substantially complete. We just have a little bit of tin work along the outside. And then I just wanted to touch on some community events and major events we had. We had a successful Easter egg hunt by the Parkhill Optimists and East Williams Optimists. We had a family fun day at Coronation Park with Parkhill Optimists. We had various concerts, our Dallas Smith concert being the largest concert we've had in the arena in some time. We had 1,200 people through. VON County Breakfast was quite successful. We've had multiple baseball tournaments, and then the one highlight I want to do is we had a really successful Canada Day fireworks event again. We had about 800 residents or 800 people attend, I should say. It was all staff run and volunteer staff wise. So we did numerous games and activities with the group, and then had some groups handing out freezies, handing out Parkhill Optimists handed out candy bags, and yeah, it was just overall a really good event, and the fireworks were very well received. And we received some good feedback on that as well. So if there's any questions, happy
Thank
to
you.
answer.
Questions for Brandon? Councilor Knellison.
Thank you, Mayor Rob. It may be a little premature, Brandon, but have you got any feedback yet from Mr. Walker on the Mud Creek Festival, how that went? Because it looked very, very busy, well attended.
So through the mayor to the councilor, we've had very positive feedback from that event. Felicia actually mentioned, and I said I'll save that one for Q3, but yeah, it was very well attended. Again, the crowd just keeps growing and growing there, and he's created quite a blueprint on how to be successful. So.
And just to add on, when you talk about the West Williams Hall and the roof replacement there, any consideration of changing the paint? That green paint looks awful.
We can certainly look at the paint.
I'd appreciate that.
I know somebody who's going to have more time soon. Councilor Irwin.
Wonderful idea, your worship. Through you, sorry to hear we were unsuccessful with our Croyam application for the Park Hill Trails. What's the next step? And did we have the feedback from Croyam and how the application, the shortfall in the application, I should say?
So through the mayor to the councillor, we're booking a call to get our feedback. Our next step, we sat down with ABCA last Friday, their rep, as well as the Friends of Friends of North Middlesex Trails. We talked about the money that had been fundraised so far and trying to complete a portion of it to try and get the interest back up in terms of the fundraising effort. So we're looking at trying to develop a certain portion of the trail more on the ABCA side, finish the loop, and then work our way back. But we're going to start utilizing the funds that have been raised. You'll probably start to see a little bit of work in this fall, and then there may be something come to budgetary discussions, and we may continue to attack grants on that.
Any other questions? For Brandon at this time? No other questions? Counselor, since you brought it up, I would just build on to what the Mud Creek Festival. I went there on the Friday night, the opening ceremonies, and there was 165 camper trailers in there. And they had groups from all over. The one group was from Georgia the night I was there. Their main group on Saturday afternoon. Some of these groups are pretty expensive to bring in, but very successful. I will mention that Mr. Walker likened himself to Kevin Costner. I made the comment that he doesn't really look like Kevin Costner, but no, but his point was, you build it and then people come to it. And it was, they have a very good right to be very proud of the event, and congrats to them. I just wanted to pass that on. They did a great job. There's no other questions for Brandon. We have a motion once again by Councillor Canelson, seconded by Councillor Keogh. See, don't go away. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Sam, you have the next one, and that is your second quarter report for infrastructure.
Thank you, Your Worship. To you and the members of council, before you this evening is report DIO 50 of 2026, which provides infrastructure and operations quarter two report. Key highlights of the report, you'll note that the Drainage Division continues to experience a very high workload while making significant progress with billing, construction, maintenance, engineering, and planning activities, and billing for the 2025 drainage projects has been completed. Outstanding receivables have been substantially reduced. Grant administration remains current, and multiple construction and maintenance projects continue across the municipality. You'll also note status of significant capital projects ongoing within infrastructure and operations. That includes the Mount Carmel Reservoir project, which is well underway. The William Street Pumping Station project, which again is on schedule and underway. The 2026 water meter replacement program, which again is on schedule and underway through Aqua. The Queen Street Phase 2 detailed design project, which is now finished. The Enhanced Lagoon project, which is slated to come to council at its August meeting, so nearly complete. The water, wastewater, and stormwater rate study update, is also nearing completion and is slated to come in front of council hopefully early September. Among a number of other projects, which you'll see under Public Works as it relates to us working on the West Corner Drive project, transitioning hopefully over to Creamery Road within the next little while here. So a lot of updates and advancement on the capital projects ongoing there. You'll also note within the report that development activity remains extremely strong between infrastructure and operations staff, clerk staff, planning staff. We all remain very busy on all the development work that's ongoing within North Middlesex, which is fantastic. And in the Public Works Division, we've obviously successfully transitioned through winter and spring into summer maintenance with completion of gravel, calcium programs, even though they are ongoing throughout the year. Ditching, culvert replacements, bridge maintenance, roadside vegetation management, cemetery operations, and different seasonal beautification initiatives. And then you'll also note in the report that the fleet program, which we just got off the ground this year in tandem working with all the other departments, has been very successful so far. We're all working together as a group and things are moving along, I think, quite well. A lot of what I think we had hoped would happen is certainly happening, which is fantastic. And the fleet program is really taking off. So you'll note the report provides update on that, including most recently, just within the past couple of weeks, finalization of the implementation of dash cameras and GPS calibration. So again, a lot of the things that we were planning to do for fleet in 2026 are coming along really nicely, which is good. So the recommendations for council this evening are that council receive report DIO 50 of 2026 regarding the Infrastructure and Operations Department 2026 Q2 report for information. And I'll just reiterate what the clerk said. In relations to staff, it's a lot of staff work with all the work that we do, a lot of fantastic work, and it's certainly a team effort. So kudos and congratulations to the team for all the great work that is done here. And Brandon and myself are here for questions if anybody has any. Thanks.
Okay, questions? Anybody?
I have to ask-
Councillor Canellison, go ahead.
I absolutely do. And I don't know if this question is for Sam or the manager of Public Works, but we had a short discussion prior to the meeting. And drainage, road crossings for drainage has been a thorn in my side for some time, given the cost of the crossing, of completing these crossings. Is that something we could bring in-house with the equipment that we have and resources that we have? Is that an option for us to do that?
Through your worship, the councillor, I think I could say that it's certainly work that we could do, but not at current staffing levels. So if that's something that we wanted to look to do, I would almost certainly say we would have to increase staffing.
Would it make sense then to request a staff report on the feasibility of bringing it in-house to see what the cost would be as compared to outsourcing it?
Through your worship, the councillor, if that's a request of council, that's something we can certainly do. Yes.
Actually, do I need to make a motion to make that request? Then I would make the motion that we have a staff report to see, to assess the feasibility of bringing road crossings in-house.
Are you talking for drains?
Yes.
At least the ones we could do, correct?
Yes.
Okay, is there a seconder for that? Councillor Keough, in favor of that? Okay. Okay, that's carried. Any other questions? Question for Sam or Brandon on this? Oh, sure, go ahead.
And looking at the development stuff, and I see there's a number of here that have gone pretty much stagnant, ones in Nairn and elsewhere throughout the municipality. Do they have to stay active or is there a point in time when we say, okay, your time for this development has expired?
Through your worship to the councillor, so it's certainly subject to what phase of the process that they're in. If they are actively working through something such as draft plan conditions, as an example, there are expiry dates on when they have to comply with those conditions versus if they're just in the process of kicking the tires, if you will, there's not necessarily expiry dates. So if they're generally in the way of draft conditions or agreement or things of that nature, there are expiry terms to that. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Seeing no other questions, we have a motion in front of, on the screen. Councillor Irwin, moved by Councillor, seconded by Deputy Mayor Hodgins. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Committee reports, Lake Huron Primary,
Nothing at this time.
Sauble Bayfield,
Yes, actually, we had some exciting news today. It was just announced today and is that Davin Heinbeck has been appointed to be the project engineer for Western Lake Erie Regional Conservation Authority in the transition period. So I think it's an acknowledgement of his skills and his abilities. And he will certainly be sadly missed at Sauble Bayfield. I don't know what his role will be with the ABCA, but we'll have more information tomorrow.
okay, thank you. Any questions, Councillor, that? No, Blue Water Recycling?
Just the information that was forwarded to the clerk.
Is there any questions from anybody on that, Blue Water Recycling? Seeing none, Economic Development.
Thank you, Worship. Through you, two items. One is the minutes from the May meeting. Are there any questions from the council on those minutes?
Where are we?
8.4.
I do have.
Well, I'm going to do two. I'm just doing one first and then look. So any questions on the minutes from May?
No, go ahead.
Okay, on number two, your worship, I just want to explain the recommendation here from the committee to entertain any questions. I think as council is aware, we have a dual purpose CIP. Half the funds go to affordable housing, half goes to facade improvement. This year and last year at council, the committee recommended 50,000 for each of those two purposes. This year and last year, council reduced that to 50,000. The mayor's budget had it as 50,000, not 100. Those funds were expended quickly. We from April to early June, we almost expended all the funds for both facade and for affordable housing. We've got a number of the funds matched. from the county for those two and expended them as well. So there's incredible interest. The committee felt at their discussion that we should revisit the decision and see if we can't put the original funds requested in the pot for the remainder of the year, raising that back up to the 100,000 requested. Now, just to give you some background, last year we did not expend all the funds. The year before we did. So there seemed to be a cycle here. 2 years ago, we expended all the funds we had. It was less. Last year we didn't. This year we expended all the funds relatively early. There are some requests in the queue. I imagine some people have walked away since we told them we had no more funds, but it's something to consider and to discuss at council. So this is a recommendation from the committee to council for their consideration, and I'd like to move it. For discussion at least. Okay. And then I'll entertain any questions from the committee if I may, your worship. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Counselor Keough, go ahead.
Is this something we should be looking at going through the budgetary process, or do you want to know now?
Well,
or shortly?
That's a good question. So there's two ways to look at this, and thank you for the question. One is we thought that we did request some funds from rural what is the ROD program? Rural Ontario, anyways, for signage, and that was $50,000 that we had put in the budget and requested 50. We haven't heard back from them yet. So we thought we could repurpose if we don't hear back from that 50,000 into this fund, and that would not impact the bottom line of the budget. The other thought was from the committee, we had a long discussion. We want to make council aware of this at the very least in preparation for next year's budget. So it's either we do it this year and we repurpose some funds that exist without changing the bottom line of the amount in the budget, or we make council aware of this need and growing need, and it becomes a priority for next year's budget. So that's where that's at. And that was a discussion we had.
I think it may be advantageous to wait until budget. This is my own personal opinion. We may have some new council members on board, and we could, sell it that way, and we could get the feel for it with the new members.
Okay, thank you. Other comments, questions on it? Counselor Kennelson?
Yes, I concur with Councillor Keough's view on that, but I do have a question in terms of, and I appreciate your request, I do, and the committee's request. But for me, it always comes down to how does the community as a whole benefit from this increase in funding? If you could explain that.
Certainly, and thank you for the question. To you, your worship. We have a real challenge, I think, but this fund addresses two challenges. The first challenge we have in our community is in terms of economic development, where we have very low support in our taxes from our retail and commercial community. So half of the CIP funds go to support that. As you know, we get about 2% of our funds from commercial taxation and about 2.5% from retail, very low. So anything we can do to support and encourage retention and growth in those areas, I think is worthwhile. So that's half the fund. The other half goes to affordable housing. And we know we have a crisis in our community for affordable housing. Young people who want to stay in our community have trouble finding housing. We are building housing, but when it starts at $600,000 a unit, is that affordable for young people starting out? So anything we can do to help with that as well, we think is worthwhile. So I think there's a lot of merit for both parts of this here for us to consider.
Just to give you some feedback, when I was at the FCM, I did attend a session on economic development and whatnot. And the feedback we got from the organization who are experts in the field, I think is JLL, and I have the contact information if you'd like to have it, is that the municipal government should not get involved in funding economic development, but rather they should create an environment that stimulates economic development and investment. And that was their thoughts on that. And I thought I'd share that with you, and I can give you their contact information if you wish to contact them on it.
Okay, thank you. Is there another question, comment? I would make comment to it that we did have this discussion at time of budget last year. Because, and I know that my thought at that time was, we haven't shown need yet. I think we show need, then we can look at it again. My other concern right now, doing it right now, is we're not going to get any funds matched anymore. from the county. And I personally believe we should take this through to the budget for next year for discussion to increase. That's my own personal. And I think we can get more bang for our dollar as well because I'd like from the other side to see the county look at their amount that they have in the budget, because at a county level, that's a very small number at a county level. And I'm hoping, talking with county, that we can increase that number there as well and get more for it. So that's my thinking. I would like it to wait for the budget process.
So I don't disagree with your assessment of the county. They rejigged their process this year.
Yep.
With less than the amount of money we could ask for. And if they don't change the process, the next year we have to be really quick, because it's first in gets the funds. And we want to, again, I think for the third time, commend our staff, because we were fast and we got our funds quickly. Other communities are just getting their request in for CIP funding and county requests, and the cupboard's bare. So we were really good in terms of our
Yeah.
state. So as we said earlier, the committee was hoping that either A, there were funds added in, or B, this creates a council, a sense of the importance of this program for next year's budget deliberation.
I personally, I'm on the B side of that equation, as you're aware of. Is there any more comment on this? Because we have a motion on the floor right now, and your motion, please say it. Give your motion again.
The Economic Development Advisory Committee, it's a motion that we support the Economic Development Committee recommendation to council that the municipality of Middlesex reconsider the initial level of funding from the 2026 budget of $50,000 CIP program to $100,000, given how quickly the funds were expended in 2026.
Okay, that's the motion that's on the floor, and it's been seconded. Sam?
Yeah, just clarification, your worship. The motion recommend or suggest council, but it is the mayor's budget. So there should be that clarification.
Sorry, that's right. The terminology should be the mayor's budget. I will make that change to the motion, your worship. Okay.
But the motion is for adding 50,000 at this time. Okay. Any other comment on it? In favor of that motion? One in favor, opposed? That does not carry. But I think, I don't know if it has to be a motion, but certainly a recommendation. We're hearing a recommendation from the committee to revisit it for the budget for increase for the budget for next year's budget, correct?
Yes, your worship. I think it's really clear that the community has learned about this program and is looking to participate in it in a greater sense than in the past.
Agreed. Okay. Anything else in economic development? If not, local school advisory.
Yes, your worship. Two items. One is an announcement that we do have delegation at AMO in terms of our issues around local schools that we've been discussing several times around the council table. It's for August the 18th. It's a morning session. I certainly will be there because I'm actually presenting at AMO on August the 18th. So that means that I will be there. I'm not sure who else from staff or council will be attending at that time, but I'm sure that will be discussed in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we have people. Who's all going, Sam? You're what?
Yeah, thank you, your worship. So myself will be in attendance, and our Director of Community Services and Economic Development will be there as well.
Okay. Okay, thank you. No, I'm not.
I'm just going for the 18th.
Yep. Okay.
And AMO's covering most of my costs, so it won't be a big expenditure back to the municipality. On the other item, we discussed at our last council meeting to bring forward some literature on the Community School Alliance, which is now posted here, and the consideration around rejoining the group. It is a $500 annual fee for a municipality of our size. I don't know if there's any questions on what was provided to us by them or for discussion.
All right. Questions, discussion on Councilor Canellison.
How many municipalities are currently members of this organization, Councilor Irwin?
I think it's in the neighborhood of 30.
And does Mr. Raycraft still the chair of that committee?
Yes, he is. I spoke to Mr. Raycraft last week.
Thank you.
Other questions on it? I will say so historically, we've always been a member of that. And it got dropped through change in staff, I think, and it just got dropped. I think with our community, especially given our schools and all the talk we have with the province, I think we can use all the help we can get. That's my own feeling on it, but Councillor Daigle.
Can we pass a motion then to pay the $500, get back in?
To
right away?
rejoin? You're making that motion? Seconded by Councillor Irwin? Yes.
Thank you. And through you, I would like to pause so that we can get the motion on screen.
Yep. Okay. Any other discussion on that motion? While they're getting that set up. And I want to say at this time, I want to thank staff for getting this done today. To putting this together. And I said, every time there's a change in a motion, it does take a minute for it to come up, but it's worth it. The public get to see what we're voting on, and there's a motion in front of us already. So thank you. Thanks, Emma. Any other discussion on it? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Anything else on local school advisory?
That's it, your worship.
Okay, Recreation Committee?
Next meeting is August 25th, and I think we might be lame duck by then, so it may not be.
I believe we will be, correct?
Thank you. And through you, at this time, I do believe we will be.
Okay. Policy Review Committee, I think we met for the last time today, but there are some policies coming forward, right?
Definitely some policies coming forward in a future council meeting.
Okay. Fire Committee, anything there?
I don't have anything, but maybe I could ask Chief Jones to talk about the Fire Appreciation Night.
Thank you, Counselor. Through the mayor to the counselor. Firefighter Appreciation Night, October 5th, October 3rd. Thank you. October 3rd. It's the first Saturday in October. House Craig Rec Center. Should be a great event. Everybody from council is invited, senior management. I must already extend a huge thank you to Brandon and Felicia for all the work that they've done to help organize this. We have a uniform fitting tomorrow night to get those who are due for a dress uniform outfitted and ready to go. It's coming together nicely. It's going to be a great event. And our next meeting is August 10th in the boardroom here.
Any questions for? Seeing none, we have Aqua client, anything there on the advisory board?
So the last I heard on this, your worship, the next meeting will happen, supposed to be directly after elections are finished.
Okay. OPP board.
Just two items, your worship. Number one, you'll see circulated the 2025 annual report, which the board, OPP attachment board, will vote on in September. So there's an opportunity to discuss it tonight, or if council would like more time to go through it, to discuss at our August meeting. The one thing you should note, if you're interested in financials, is page 4 of the 28-page report. It shows the breakdown of the budget allocation that each of the member municipalities are charged and what we actually paid last year. So last year, our share was $3,456, and we actually paid $1,667 and change. That speaks to the second point, but I'll wait and see if there's any questions on the annual report, or you can forward them to me because we are not actually voting on it to our September meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Secondly, kind of surprisingly at the last meeting, Middlesex Center said they no longer want to support the administration of the OPP detachment. And it was felt at that meeting quickly that, the county can do it now and they have the space to do it. So I understand that our recommendation has already gone forward for the county now to do the administration for the OPP detachment board. I think maybe you can speak to that, your worship.
Okay, I will speak to it. It did come to the board, and it was, we were asked, what does that mean? What would the county really be doing? And what they were asked for was basically supplying the administrative and clerking the meetings, the financial part of it. The county owns the financial part of it, but having no other part of it. And that has to go to the board. That was just, the county was asked for it. They voted on it yesterday. I don't think it was unanimous, but it did get passed. And so it's up to the board as to what they want to do in the future.
So back to that point, at the September meeting, we will have that further discussion.
Yeah.
If we don't have a thought tonight, certainly like to hear from our council, at least at our August meeting, your thoughts on that particular potential move. If not Middlesex Center, then whom else would be interested in hosting the meetings, which are 4 times a year?
And I think the board will have an interesting discussion on it and come to a decision on it. Okay. Any other questions for the OPP board? Councilor Nelson.
I do have a question for Councilor Irwin. I was looking through the report and I noticed that property crimes is a very, very low clearance rate. It's something, a total of something like 14%, less than 15% for property crimes. Is that a low priority for the OPP? It's on page 18.
Great question, and I will ask at the September meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Seeing none, move on. We have no correspondence, other than urgent business. I will start it with just congratulating the people at the 5 Fun Days for putting on that event. Since Councillor Nerda isn't here, I know she would want to send the kudos out to them as well. And we'll go forward from there. Councillor Irwin.
Urgent business? I wonder if the acting CEO can give us an update on the schedule and activities surrounding the official plan review process, because I hear we are now moving forward with that.
Yeah, so through your worship to the councillor's question there. So as most folks will likely have seen by now, there's a public meeting next week in Craig on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. So that is the public open house for the official plan update. And then following that meeting, that is the public piece. It would be coming in front of council at the August 12th meeting. Because we are likely going to a lame duck, like the clerk had mentioned, that very well may delay when the official plan is able to be adopted. But at least at this point, the public open house is going to be next Wednesday, and then it will come to council on August 12th, and then it will likely be slightly delayed until elections are done before the official plan may be able to be updated. Obviously, after the public meeting next week, and when it does come in front of council, I know between myself and other members involved in the official plan, always open to comments and feedback. So anything we do receive after those meetings will certainly be considered for update before it does eventually come back in front of council for adoption. But at this point, that's the 2 things that are set in stone, subject to seeing what lame duck does to delaying the adoption of the official plan.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. I did neglect something under EAC. We are meeting and we'll move the meeting to August 6th and it's going to be in Park Hill to specifically discuss elements of the official plan at 6 o'clock here on August 6th. But I'm careful how I say this. We had initially had a more opportunity for council input on the official plan and what we approved in terms of our draft timelines in March of 2025. That being said, with the lame duck, at least we have an opportunity for more thought to go into it. We had a number of working papers that we were proposed that we haven't had yet. We had working papers in areas around growth and development, agriculture, natural heritage, housing, etc. We did some work in housing, so we haven't seen any of them. And we had at least 2 public meetings in the initial project timeline, one in Elsa Craig and one in Park Hill, before the statutory meeting, which we'll have here in August. So I just want council to be aware that we have a compressed timeline, but the lame duck may give us a more opportunity for feedback and input. However, I would like to say that if and when we go through this process again, it's much more fulsome. And we have more opportunity for public input because this is incredibly important for what this council does for the next decade.
Okay. Sam.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. And just to add to the councillor's last comment there, the province has already put forward mandate that by, I believe it's January 2029, municipalities will already have to have an updated official plan again, and it's more standardized framework. So regardless of how we finish this process out, it's already been coming through the province that we're going to have to do it again, and it will have to be done by that January 2029 deadline.
Okay. Okay. Anything else? Other business?
An announcement, your worship, Saturday, July 25th is the third annual Elsa Craig Heritage Games, Highland Games and Scottish Days. It starts at 8 a.m. with breakfast, and it will go until 10 p.m. in the evening, where there will be an evening concert with the Mudmen. And lots of activity in between, including children's activities, entertainment all afternoon, and the games themselves. So certainly I hope people will be able to attend Saturday, July 25th.
Okay, thank you. To that end, Brandon, I have a question for you. Should those banner lines be raised up some? Because that's the second time I know of. The other time I was cutting grass when the line let go and came across the yard. I'm just like, there's more big loads going through. Should we be a little higher?
Through the worship there, that is something we can look into
Okay,
a bit more. Yeah, we can look into that.
okay, thanks. Other business. That they took it out? No, it was taken out before that, but it was the last time it was hit. It was the bins going to the co-op that caught it and spun it across. Any other business? Seeing no other business, let's move on to communication, including county council. I would start that with the paramedic. If I can, I'll make a note on that. I want to commend the guys at, not just the guys, sorry, the team at MLPS. They finished the budget for next year, and it came in at 3.54%. And when you consider increases, in wages and stuff, I want to commend them for coming up with a budget like that. And I think it's the first time I've ever really seen them start at zero and really work hard to get where they did. And I just want to commend them here for that effort. So that has been approved at the board level, but also yesterday at county council, that budget was approved. So I just wanted to make a comment to that. Any questions on any of it? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion to go into closed, and that is for section 239(2)B of the Municipal Act 2001 to discuss personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal employees, regarding council benefits and a human resources matter. Moved by Councillor Daigle, seconded by Deputy Mayor Hodgins. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Let's just wait for a minute and go into closed.